Good morning, welcome to the Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 4th of November. What's up for today then? News-wise, I'm just looking actually before I look at news-wise. Let's just recheck yesterday's data. The only data that came out was not particularly good for the US there. Whether more sort of hangs on those sort of numbers is a suggestion that it might be, but I don't know if that's just AI data or chat going on as opposed to real chat. But they're not big numbers in the scheme of things here. But either way, still there's a bit of contraction showing there. Not the numbers we want to see, the government numbers, but they're not going to happen for a while, and it looks like non-farm payrolls is pretty much definitely not coming out. Pretty much definitely. Okay, not coming out on Friday, so we'll be left with more whispers. Okay, Australian dollar. Well, we saw this morning. We've seen the rate left untouched at 3.6. There's inflationary pressures there anyway, so that's expected and no surprise. We've got this morning. We've got Lagarde speaking. We've got New Zealand unemployment change. Later this afternoon or evening, and then then tomorrow we've got the ADP, so there'll be probably more emphasis on the ADP because it's the only number that's coming out, although it's notoriously wrong. That will be tomorrow. Anyway, for now let's look at what's happening here. So the question is the euro finding support? Well, it's very early on here at this stage. It has been slowing up in its move. The retracements have been quite deep. If you look at it here, it came back to almost the high yesterday. It's come back deep again here. See what happens this morning. A break back below that pivot to the downside to me would be it's continuing down. There's possibly some divergence across the lows here, is there? Well, there was back here. Really, the RSI breaking the 50 there, it sort of nullifies this sort of move, but some will be looking at it still and saying, well, there's still a divergence kicking in, and well, the way the calculations work, it will be. But anyway, inevitable if it has a retrace almost, and a deep retrace at that. So we'll see what happens this morning. A break to the upside is a leave alone for me, really. I'm not looking to buy the euro down here. It's been having too much of a track to the downside. I need to see something probably on the 4-hourly picture to show me otherwise. Okay, the pound. So the pound, come on pound, hurry up. He says, you know what's going to happen to this computer, apart from nearly throw it out the window. It's going to have a reboot today. That's what he's moaning about. There we go. So the pound, daily wise, I mean, it didn't really do a great deal yesterday. We are consolidating around this last month's S2 there on the monthlies, coming to the mess that we can see here at the moment. It's a mess, and it continues to be a mess. Really, maybe if it starts breaking down the lows here, it will continue, follow suit. I think if the euro was to reverse a little bit more and come back down, I prefer to play the euro than I would the pound, really. It's just so ugly. So if it's not showing you anything that you want to see, again, I wouldn't be looking to buy that pound. Right, he says, US dollar yen. So eventually it might switch. There we go. So we've seen a bit of a correction here. Look at, I mean, we had the original divergence back here. It broke, it killed that one. It's pushed back up, and there's a 4-hour divergence effectively kicking across these highs here. So the 4-hour divergence, it broke the low between the two highs. It's a possibility for it to come off some more. We'll just see how it reacts now to its weekly pivot. It might just stop where it is. There's not a great deal of driving there. It looks like some political movement, chatter coming out the early hours of the morning there, but I'm not massively convinced with it. It's sort of sitting there. It's got the potential coming off. It's come off quite sharply. Pivot wise, well, it's all the way through. But beyond its S5, or onto its S5 here, was it 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, S5. It's sort of come back to, but it's so pinched yesterday. Now we tend to get moves like these in the markets after the price flattening like this, often driven news. It's just a fact that the markets are waiting for something to turn things, but it has come off there. Whether, as I say, whether it will continue pushing through, it's all dependent really on this weekly pivot. If it holds it, it's certainly, there was a divergence between the high here over here. So we'll see what happens with that. I need again. It's around the top. Do I want to be trying to short or go long on the likes of the euro, on the pound? Not really. Not when it's near a top or near a bottom, because it might just go on and make another top. Australian dollar. Australian dollar still coming off here. I was expecting, I hadn't looked at this chart this morning with the price things not being touched. I was really almost expecting something more of a move the other way, something a little bit more positive, but it's not. It's continued to weaken here, and it's probably had its move for this morning. If everything changes, well, I'm not looking to buy it because of, again, it's in a downward trend. Downward trend on dailies, 4 hourlies, dailies, hourlies, even. Not interested in it. Any retracement may be an opportunity to be a sell point, but it did break that low I was looking at yesterday, and it's really looking softish. US dollar CAD then. So I'm going through these all this morning. Right, there we go. Daily wise, still pushing up here. We've got some way to go before we get into sort of those key resistance points from earlier in the year, etc. So it's continuing here. It's closing in, must be closing in not far from a divergence territory here, and of course it will be showing divergence to the way the calculation. When you look at a price action that's pulled down here, if you're looking at things like the RSI more so, it's taken all these negative numbers into play with the count. So the RSI is going to be, should be, he says, there's no RSI in this one, but you can see it with the MACD. Across the two lows is alright. I don't put RSI across the board on here. We'll look at it in a minute. 4 hourly. Well, there is a bit of resistance around where it's sitting there, so a bit of a reaction. 60 minutes. Someone you'll be looking at this. Not quite made a new high in this little bit here. Did it yesterday. But again, it is strengthening at the moment. We'll see how things develop there. If I then now look at the bigger picture on this chart, it's only because it's got Dive RSI on there. Well, it pulled back so far between those 2 points. You'd have to look at it the weekly to see if there's divergence. There's probably divergence on there on the weeklies. I'll do it. Go on. There we go. Minor divergence. Right. Now let's get this back to an hourly. Otherwise, it's going to look really ugly. There we go. Right, pushing on then. So CAD is strengthening a little bit against the dollar at this stage, but again, it's in a long, strong uptrend. Yes, it has got resistance here, and you might scalp some points out of it. Is it the turning point? Well, there's not a lot changed, so I wouldn't be too keen on it now. I was about to click on the New Zealand dollar. Is it going to take me there? Yep. Going to regret this because it's probably very similar to the Australian dollar. I'd rather be trading. I don't know. This is still coming off here nicely. This has been in this sort of downward range for some time here. Look, this is it's just coming back down here. Looking soft, but no trades evident apart from as the same with the Australian dollar break the cluster of lows there. It's continuing its route. Yeah, You have to be early to get hold of this one. I think it's gone in the early hours of the morning there. Not anything for me there to be done at the moment. Finally, the cross pair. Just quickly look at the cross pair here of the euro yen. Once it eventually loads up. Sorry, this is my PC, not the software. It's on a go slow now, and it's maybe not going to give me anything more this morning because it's freezing at this point here. Oh, here we go. Eventually. So the euro yen. So yesterday, day before, a couple of days ago, actually we saw this sort of run in here. Actually gave a bit of a cup and handle price action there. Didn't continue through it. It's not broken the low of the handle yet. So who knows? But it has got a pivot cut that it might be chasing down at the moment. Lower higher that did come on the 4 hourly in that structure on Friday, and it's pushed down given more lower highs here yesterday, and it is looking a bit on the soft side. And if you come down to the alleys, definitely looking lower highs coming through here, lower lows, but at the moment it's near a low where there's support. Need a retrace if I was going to look to sell that. It's below, yeah, to me it's happened with that yen move this morning. That's probably happened. It's most unlikely that we'll see a big continuation there unless all the markets turn against the dollar, in which case the euro will be one of the stronger ones anyway, so that will mess this up. Right, that's that. Let's see if I can get gold this morning. There's hope. It's changed colour. There we go. I've got a terrible habit of not turning this computer off or rebooting it. So its normal reboots is when Microsoft has put an update on it or something, but obviously not recently. So gold still looking a bit iffy where it is here at the moment. It's not a buying point for me. It has put these little higher lows in. It didn't manage to push up much yesterday and continue through. It wasn't too far off of doing so, but it's in a consolidated phase. The trouble is you buy or sell it now because you think it's going to do one or the other, and you could be sitting there underwater, maybe snatched out one way, snatched out the other way. It's not clear, so there's probably better markets to be looking at. S&P's down nearly 1% this morning. It's ironic because reading about how the AI companies have all driven the market, and you can tell that was written by some program AI. Ironic, eh? It's trying to drive itself up. Lower highs still coming through here, still looking a mess, isn't it, from last week? If anything, pulling back here. Techs are down 1.2% this morning, so they're only doing exactly the same. Weak markets here, not looking particularly great at all. We'll see how it finds support, or what it finds in terms of support off the monthly pivot. Last month's pivot held it quite nicely. Eventually it bounced off that. I'm not looking again. I can't be personally looking at this in shorting territory. There's better opportunities to do on the short side on these equity markets, and that's of course the DAX. FTSE